Guys, I just got finished reading Comfort in Darkness by Rickson Gracie, and if you don't know who Rickson Gracie is, he is one of the members of the Gracie family. The first ever champion of UFC is Royce Gracie, Rickson's younger brother. Royce said constantly that the best Gracie is Rickson Gracie, and Rickson Gracie is the undefeated Gracie. But I'm not here to talk about the Gracies. What I am here to talk about is the Gracies are kind of like the first family, the first dynasty of the UFC. If you can think of like a family, a name, like UFC royalty, MMA royalty, right? You'd probably think of the Gracies. Like they'd probably be somewhere on that list, right? Because how many Gracies were world champions? How many Gracies, were absolute studs, killers, assassins, all of these other kind of things, right? And it got me thinking, the Gracies have an incredible legacy, right? For what they've done for mixed martial arts and the UFC and MMA and all that kind of stuff, right? Is there a family out there that can rival what their Gracies have done? And I thought, and I thought, and I thought, and I thought. And I think the guy that might be able to give the Gracies a run for their money is Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov, 28-0!
Anyway, guys, before I get into it, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps grow the channel. And let me know, do you think there are any other families, dynasties, anything even comparable to the Gracies, right? Anything comparable to the Nurmagomedovs, or are these kind of the only two that I can think of? Let me know in the comments. The Nurmagomedov family, that group out of Dagestan, Russia, this man, Abdulmanap, has basically produced so many world-class athletes, and his athletes are essentially producing the next generation of world-class athletes, world-class fighters, world-class MMA stars that are all on the up-and-coming. Just look at the list of dominant champions and up-and-comers that he has basically at the helm of greatest of all time status, right? First and foremost, you all have Khabib.
And new undisputed UFC lightweight champion of the world.
Right? Now, a lot of the haters out there look at Khabib's record, they look at Khabib's legacy, and they're like, he has a padded record, he really didn't fight the best of the best, he really didn't, all this kind of stuff, right? But even world champion Belal Muhammad has said, like basically right before his fight with Leon Edwards, I suck. I went and trained with Khabib and he ragdolled me, and he could come back right now and be a champion at 155, 170, 185, maybe even 205, that he would dominate anyone and everyone in each one of those divisions, right? So, and he's not the only one who said this. Islam Makhachev, the current 155-pound champion, a lot of people are saying he is better and has surpassed Khabib. He has said recently that nobody stops Khabib in the cage, not even me. So, I'm looking at this, and the criticism of Khabib is that he didn't have, first of all, his record is padded, right? 14 or 15 fights before he gets in the UFC, something like that, right? He beats guys who are 0-0, and it's his 14th fight, 15th fight, something like that. A huge record from Russia that was obviously padded. Maybe he fought a lot of cans, right? That's the criticism. But the reality is, maybe that's all he could get, right? Who knows what the promotions are like over there? Who knows what the promotions are like over there, right? And if you're fighting for, a paycheck, right? You basically take anything that gets you paid, right? Who knows? So that's one part of it. The second part of it is that even if his record is padded, he still came over, dominated almost every single person in the UFC, including Gleison Tibau. I know a lot of you haters are going to say Gleison Tibau beat Khabib. He absolutely did not. He dominates all the best people in the lightweight division and defeats them and makes it look almost effortless, right? The guy barely lost a single round in his time in the UFC. Maybe he lost one to Conor. And a lot of people think that the judges who gave Conor that round are like the guys who are going crazy. Then, you have Islam Makhachev.
And new undisputed UFC lightweight champion of the world.
Right? Islam Makhachev also in the lightweight division, coming up right behind Khabib. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, he doesn't deserve it. What has he done to get it? You know? He got a title shot off of submitting Bobby Green, I believe it was. So, I get it, right? A lot of you guys think he didn't deserve it. But when he was there, he beats the best guy in the division. Charles Oliveira. Right? Everybody thought Charles was the guy to maybe beat Khabib. Everybody thought that he wouldn't stand a chance against Charles. He won every minute of that fight to win the belt. Then after that, he goes on to defeat Alexander Volkanovski, the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world at the time, who wanted a second chance at a belt. Beats him again, albeit on short notice. It makes it look effortless, right? Fights Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier put everything on the line there. That was just Dustin Poirier's last crack at the belt, right? So he put everything he absolutely had into that fight. But not only did Islam Makhachev beat him, he beats him in a way where basically he is best. Dustin Poirier is considered the best boxer in the lightweight division, and Islam Makhachev was outboxing him. You know what I mean? He won by sub in the final round, but let's look at it, right? Look at the exchanges. You go back, you watch the tape. He was winning on the feet. He could have struck with him the entire fight. And he could have very well won, right? Now you look at Umar Nurmagomedov.
And still undefeated Umar.
Right now, a lot of people are saying, you know what, he hasn't done enough to deserve a title shot against Merab Dvalishvili. Umar Nurmagomedov hasn't done enough to earn a title shot against Merab Dvalishvili. Now, I think it's kind of funny that Aljamain Sterling came out and kind of said, oh, you know, he can't get a title shot just because of, you know, the Nurmagomedov name, just because of what your cousin did. Bro, you got a title shot off of defeating Corey Sandhagen. Now you're denying the same opportunity because Umar Nurmagomedov beat Corey Sandhagen? Make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. You're crazy for thinking that, Aljo. I'm sorry to say. And I have a lot of respect for you. I actually like Aljamain Sterling. I just think it's funny that was the argument you made, even though that's the reason you got your title shot. And let's not even talk about why you won the title in the first place. Then, so Umar Nurmagomedov, right? The area where he looks the most dangerous, which is the grappling, where everybody thinks he's the most dangerous, which he's very dangerous there. Let's be real. Very dangerous there. Gets completely nullified by Corey Sandhagen. And by the way, anybody who's going to fight this Dagestani crew, I think you go and you have a conversation with Corey, and maybe if you ask him really nicely, he'll be like, here's what we figured out, right? So at least there, at least you keep it on the feet so that you have a puncher's chance, right? Then you've got Usman Nurmagomedov, who is the lightweight Bellator champion.
And now the new Bellator lightweight world champion, Usman.
You know what I mean? The lightweight Bellator champion. A lot of people are saying, okay, he's going to come over to the UFC in the next couple years. Basically, when Islam Makhachev has done his reign at lightweight, Usman Nurmagomedov is going to come compete in the lightweight division at the UFC and come and be a champion. And Javier Mendez says he is the best of the Nurmagomedovs. Like he's better than Khabib, better than Islam. That's what they're saying, right? Is that he is going to show them things that we've never seen before out of the Nurmagomedov crew. So you've got all these guys who are absolutely dominating, a force to be reckoned with in the UFC, all from the Nurmagomedov lineage, all from the camp and the school that was created by Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. Just this alone is enough to be like, man, like, give the guy his flowers. Put him in the UFC Hall of Fame. Do something to commemorate this guy's legacy within the sport of mixed martial arts. Absolutely. But then the other thing you've got to keep in mind is think about the ripple effects. Think about how much money is flowing into Dagestan, Russia right now. How many facilities are being opened? How much new, equipment, coaches, nutritionists, everything is going into that community, right? To kind of bring up that next generation of fighters. And all of this is kind of a ripple effect from Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, right? So everything that we see, right? Everything that I've read about in the Comfort in Darkness from Rickson Gracie, a lot of it was some incredible stuff about his life as a fighter, how he uses jiu-jitsu and things in other pursuits, not just fighting, right? Learning to stay calm under pressure, all of these things. And it just gets me thinking, it's like, man, I wish we could have gotten inside the mind of Abdulmanap. I wish we could have just learned a little bit about how that guy thinks, right? Maybe we'll get something out of Khabib or Usman or Umar or any of these guys. Just some way to understand what these guys, what his thinking is, what his philosophy is, right? Obviously, he's a devout Muslim. That entire crew, they are devout Muslims, so that certainly has probably a huge impact on his philosophies about life and training and discipline and all these other kind of things, right? But I'm sure there's there's little nuances and little things that he could share with us, right? That we're just never really going to know, that it's never going to be down on paper or articulated in the way, right? Because he left us, during COVID, right? He went back to Allah, as they say. So I don't know. I don't really know. My point is just to point out how incredible the legacy is of Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. The Nurmagomedovs probably being the second most important family when it comes to MMA, mixed martial arts, UFC, all that kind of stuff, especially right now. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I don't care. This is just the beginning. I think unless some things change, we're going to see tons of domination out of that region. There's no question about it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.